Alright, hello everyone and welcome to today's Gems of War video. This video I have for you my scouting report for Urskaya Week. Urskaya Week begins on April 1st, 2024. Urskaya is over here in the northwest corner of the map. See it just to the west of my chosen home kingdom of Glacial Peaks. Don't want to hear anything about Whitehelm right now. Glacial Peaks is where it's at in my opinion. Anyway, let's continue on. Urskaya is a Earth Kingdom with a life bonus. So, Earth deeds, Earth books. Life bonus is not really something that's really going to move the needle too much. So, unless you really like Urskaya teams, or if you really need the help with Werewoods, then you can just leave this at level 15 for a while. Probably a long while. Anyway, what else is there to say about Urskaya? Oh yeah, Urskaya has a lot of Urskas in it. I know. I was surprised too. Urskaya has a lot of Urskas in it. Okay, moving on. Where are we? Okay, yes, the Arcane Lava Trait Stone. Red and brown, not a problem. You won't be able to get it from exploring Urskaya during Urskaya Week, but you will still be able to get it from Groshnag, Hellcrag, and Cinemirage. So if you are looking for this trait stone, don't worry about pre-farming this. You've got other things that you're probably going to need to do. As for the maximum power for Urskaya, it's going to go up from 25 to 26. So yeah, not too close to power level 30 for now. So you got time to max this out as you go along. So yeah, leave it at 15 for now, maximum, and get as much power as you can, and then worry about this stuff later. So, all right, core 4 and 4 more teams. So the core 4, this is the team that I had in my notes from my epic trials. Last time we had it, I had Urskaya in blue in the first position, then Ursuvius, Spirit of Rage, and Baba Yaga. The Urskaya banner is blue and red with a penalty of purple, which is great for Ursuvius and bad for Baba Yaga, and also bad for her hut that she'll try to summon as part of her spell. Overall, my strategy was to try to use Ursuvius as much as humanly possible to get that damage to all enemies boosted by burning and enraged allies and enemies. Ursuvius does have a pretty good damage reduction from skulls, but I need to get one of these troops out of the way so I can put Yaga's hut in. And Urskaya in blue is kind of the odd one out. Does have a good 50% start spells with 50% mana, creates a lot of red gems, a 50-50 chance of enraging all allies. If you wanted to sacrifice Spirit of Rage instead of Urskaya in blue, I think that's a pretty good choice, pretty decent choice as well. The other reason I went with the good reason to keep the Spirit of Rage around is for the Fire Link that you gain bonus red mana from red gem matches. Otherwise, the spell is okay. Explodes 3 random gems and 2 more for every enraged ally, then enrages a random ally. This can explode a lot of gems if everyone is enraged, but overall, I didn't really use this one as much as I thought I would. So, but yes, if you want to sacrifice Spirit of Rage, you can. The other downside to sacrificing Spirit of Rage over Urskaya in blue, the Spirit of Rage will block Ursuvius on red, whereas Urskaya in blue does not block Ursuvius at all. So, and of course, if you're preparing to go deep into the epic trials, you'll also need Yaga's hut, which deals damage to an enemy, triple damage if the enemy is silenced. How do you silence enemies? You silence enemies using Baba Yaga, who can deal for a certain amount of damage to the last 2 enemies, silence them, and then summon the hut. So once the hut is in play, you should already have two enemies that have been silenced by Baba Yaga. You've got um, that King Mikhail in the fourth position. He's probably the one you're going to be targeting the most to try to get him and his deal damage to all enemies out of the way as quickly as possible. But yeah, it was a pretty decent epic trial. Wasn't I didn't think it was particularly I didn't think it was super hard, but it's not a walk in the it wasn't a walk in the park either. So good luck with that. But yes, certainly look for all of these troops. Make sure that you have them unlocked. If you don't have them unlocked, including the hut, then make sure that you are using your event keys to get them unlocked. So let's go with the four more. I wanted to not give you three legendary troops, and I could have easily given you three legendary troops, but instead, I'm going to go a little easy on you and give you a rare troop to look for. So this is a troop you can get in the gold chest. So if you don't have this one unlocked yet, you don't have this one all the way to mythic yet, don't worry, you'll get it in time. Urskaya is a bounty hunter troop, gains bonus green mana from green gem matches, destroys 8 gems, and deals damage to an enemy. This is a pretty good troop to have in your bounty hunter teams. I honestly don't play bounty hunter that much, but it is a good troop to have. Goes well with Ogress because you get that extra green mana that she can use, and she'll probably end up being in the lineup somewhere above Urskaya, so she'll be intercepting all that green mana, that bonus green mana from Nature Link. So yeah, it's a pretty good troop to have. Now for the legendaries. This one, if you've been watching some of my other scouting report videos, you probably saw this one coming. Urskaya does scatter damage boosted by enraged allies at a ratio of ×8, and enrages all allies and gives them 6 attack. But the big clincher for me with this particular troop is the third trait, where all Urskaya allies start with 50% mana. You've seen me say good things about other troops that do exactly the same type of thing, so I'm going to suggest this one with the same fervor as I did for them. So if you do not have this one unlocked, vent chests. Now, King Mikhail. King Mikhail is my other legendary I'm going to recommend. You'll see him during the epic trials. He'll probably make your life difficult. Explodes a row, deals 41 damage to all enemies, magic-based damage to all enemies. Then deals 9 more damage if he's enraged. He gains enrage when he matches brown gems. He does have leader as one of his traits, but that's not as useful as you think it is, particularly if you're going for him in an Urskaya team, because if your hero is using Urskaya's class, then your hero is more likely to be in first than he is. But overall, a pretty good troop to have. So I wouldn't say that you absolutely have to get him. If you don't have Urskaya, you need to get her. Him or her, I don't know. These are bears. I don't. Okay, doesn't say. Whoever it is, get Urskaya, and then worry about King Mikhail later if you don't have him. Okay, 3 mythics to choose from. Got Doomclaw, which is kind of nice. Deals damage to one enemy boosted by enraged allies, with separate 25% chances to devour the next enemy above and below. So you can, if you really get lucky, you can eat 2 enemies for the price of 1 and essentially make the battle over. But that does, as you might have guessed, that doesn't happen too often. You can enrage a random ally in 4 or 5 gem matches as well. But my recommendation is Enraged Kurandara. Enraged Kurandara, you do not have to wait in the Soul Forge for a specific random week. You can get Enraged Korandara whenever you want. You do need an impressive 8 orbs of power in order to get Enraged Korandara, but does damage to all enemies boosted by Doom Skulls and converts yellow gems to Doom Skulls, conjures a Doom Storm, which is going to give you more skulls. And yeah, you get bonus red mana from red gem matches, which is useful for our Urskaya teams. And yeah, this is the right one to get. In my opinion, get this one first, then get Doomclaw later. And then as far as Korandara, get Korandara when you have nothing else better to do. Or get Korandara because you got lucky with the event chests while you're trying to get Urskaya and King Mikhail. And maybe Theodorovich. But otherwise you would never use Korandara if you could use Enraged Korandara instead. You get the idea now, right? Yeah, okay, good. Now we can move on to the weapons then. And my favorite legendary weapon in Urskaya, there are 14 weapons to choose from, by the way, as of right now. But my favorite is Ruthless Defense as far as the legendary weapons go. Ruthless Defense is a shield. It explodes a bunch of brown gems, grants a random status effect to all Urskaya allies, then summons an Urskaya troop. I'm accenting on Urskaya because you're going to see a lot of Urskaya and Urska with these weapons. So Urskaya is all the troops from this kingdom. Urska is all the bears, right? Got it? Yeah, good. So, Ruthless Defense has a lot of really good upgrades. It enrages the hero, barriers to hero, and stuns the first enemy. There's also gaining 4 armor, but that doesn't really factor in too much. But Ruthless Defense is pretty good. I would definitely go for that one if you don't have it. Urskine Cleaver is also pretty good. This is essentially the same thing as Ruthless Defense, except the status effect and the troop summoned are Urska rather than Urskaya. Yeah, you see how this is working, right? The upgrades aren't nearly as good. That's why I would go for a Ruthless Defense over the Urskine Cleaver. As for the other two that I particularly like, we've got Axe of the North and Razor Claw. We're going to do it's basically the same thing all over again. Razor Claw deals 46 damage to an enemy boosted by Urskaya allies, then creates a mix of 6 green and 6 brown gems for each Urskaya ally. The upgrades are okay. You've got another Enrage yourself. You can create a Doom Skull and a bunch of other useless stuff. Then you've got Axe of the North. Deals, is it the same amount? Yeah, same amount of damage to an enemy boosted by Urska allies, then creates a mix of 6 green and brown gems for each Urska ally. And for those who are paying attention, yes, it's the same mix of green and brown gems for each of these two weapons. The Axe of North gets Enrage for the hero. Steals 2 attack from the first enemy, which is also kind of nice. Overall, if I was to choose between one of these two, I would go the other way and choose Axe of the North. And if you only could get 2 of these 4, I'd go with Ruthless Defense first, and then Axe of the North. All right, so we're all done with the legendary weapons. Wait. One more legendary weapon to talk about. Beastly Claw. Does a certain amount of damage to the first 2 enemies, boosted by allied beasts, summons a beast. You probably want this one. And you can only summon this weapon from the Soul Forge during the faction assault, since this is Werewood's faction weapon. And this one also creates a Leaf Storm, which is also pretty good. You probably won't use this as much with Urskaya teams, but this can work pretty good with Beast teams situationally. So it's definitely one of the better weapons as far as the faction weapons. It's not an absolute must-have, but it's something that I would recommend. So you can either get this one by creating it in the Soul Forge or by buying to the specified tier during the faction assault, if you would want to do it that way instead. Okay, so let's talk about probably my favorite weapon by far from Urskaya. Now, this doesn't count as a legendary weapon because it's a mythic weapon. So, if you're wondering why I suddenly have this above Ruthless Defense, mythic weapon, and this is really good. This is really key. You should get it immediately if you don't already have it. You get this one by getting 250 wins with your hero as a sentinel. And what this does is it gives your ally any ally a certain amount of armor boosted by all enemy attack, then enrages and barriers them. This is great for Rowan teams. This is great for Tesla teams for obvious reasons. And what's more, once you have all the upgrades, you can get away with casting the Shield of Urskaya not on your hero, but on one of your other troops. If your hero is in first position, where your hero would be if you have the Shield of Urskaya, you look at the upgrades, your hero is going to get barrier anyway. Your hero is also going to get bless, which will remove any of those silly negative effects. Also, stuns the first enemy can be useful as well. And the good thing about casting this on someone else, obviously, if you have a Rowan team, you're going to cast this on Rowan anyway because it is her armor that her spell scales on. But if you cast this on Rowan, for example, Rowan will get barrier and your hero will get barrier. 2 barriers for the price of 1. If you have a Tesla team, it works exactly the same. You cast it on either Tesla you want. If you have a double Tesla, you cast it on anything. Just don't cast. You normally would not cast Shield of Urskaya on your hero unless your hero is really getting pummeled by skull attacks. So anyway, absolutely key weapon to get. Sentinel class I'm going to talk about a little bit later. But yes, get this. If you don't have this weapon unlocked, get it immediately. If you don't have this weapon upgraded, upgrade it. So, and then we have the Doomed Baton, the only doomed weapon from Urskaya. Completely missable in my opinion. It is a weapon that requires a very specific type of lineup where you care about brown and you care about purple. Overall, it is what it is, but you don't need it. You don't. So if you don't have it, you can just leave it in the Soul Forge right where it is. If you already have it and you haven't leveled it up, you haven't tempered it, I meant to say, you don't have to. There's a lot of other brown weapons that will make more sense to temper than this one. So don't make the mistake I did. Okay, having said all that, let's talk about the Sentinel class. And what I'm going to say is don't do what I did, because I unlocked the Sentinel class, I got the Shield of Urskaya, and then I promptly forgot that the Sentinel class was a thing. And that was a big mistake for me, because Sentinel class is actually very, very good. And part of the reason why the Sentinel class is as good as it is that the talent trees actually give you a lot of help. And it makes your hero very tanky. It's not necessarily a really good mana generating class. It's okay for brown mana. It doesn't really help for anything else. But let's take a look at the traits real quick. Get Behind Me gives you a 25% chance to bury a random ally at the start of your turn. You get Holy Armor, which reduces your damage from skulls by 40%, which is good. You always like to have a nice damage reduction from skulls on whatever troop you have in the first position. And speaking of the first position, You gain 3 to all skills in the first position, and if you get Sentinel to class level 40, you can unlock another talent which will up this by 2. And so you will then have gain 5 to all skills in the first position. That's right, all you have to do is get this commander. 3 plus 2 is 5. This is not algebra. This isn't. So anyway, the most important thing is you want to get this all the way to level 100, because Urskaya Major is one of those very rare champion level 100 traits that you want to unlock, because Urskaya Major gives all Urskaya allies 1 attack at the start of every turn. That means your hero, who is by definition going to be an Urskaya ally if your hero is using the Sentinel class, will be getting 1 attack every single turn. So really good, really good. I mean, as far as champion level 100 talents go, this is as good as it gets. So make sure if you haven't gotten your Sentinel to champion level 100, do it. It might take a while. It's been taking me a while too, but do it. Okay, now we're done with Sentinel. Let's talk about the pets for a little bit. Okay, so you got your kingdom pets, which is the snowball pets. These are the ones that give your Urskaya teams a bonus. And the next one up, as far as the priorities, in my opinion, is Urskine. Urskine is the one that gives your Urskaya team a team bonus. And worth mentioning, the Theodorovich's Teddy gives your Theodorovich skill points. Again, as for any of these troop buff pets, they're useful if you use this pet. They're basically cosmetic pets if you don't even have this troop. So if you don't have Theodorovich, then you don't have to worry about this pet. And then, of course, we'll talk briefly about Sir Ted. Sir Ted is the Werewoods faction pet. So you'll get this one in time if you're going deep into Urskaya. So if you're figuring out which of these 4 you're probably going to max, it's probably going to be 4 of these 5. So for me, it's probably, once I get Sir Ted by completing Werewoods, that will probably be it. Although I would imagine I'll get Urskine at some point anyway. So, and then the rest of them are just cosmetic pets, so no one has to worry about those. So, okay, so Werewoods faction. Werewoods is right over here in the northwest corner of the map. Kind of hard to miss because it's right there on the coast. It's a red-green restriction, which is, I would say, a pretty easy restriction to get around. It is a kind of a long walk. I believe you have to go through 5 rooms in order to get to where you need to go. Let me just double check that. Yeah, so you kind of have to go, well, you could go 4 this way. Wait, no, it's 5. What am I thinking? So 3, 4, 5, or 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, it is a bit of a long walk. So when you do pure faction, that's probably gonna make things a little difficult. But when you're just building this to 500, red and green restriction gives you access to any number of variants of Tesla teams. So, and that's pretty much what you're going to be leaning on to get you deep into Werewoods anyway. So what about the Werewoods troops themselves, you might? Well, the Werewoods is kind of an interesting one. You've got the legendary troop Beastmaster Torben that converts, well, first of all, he gives 2 attack and armor to beast allies when matching 4 or more gems. Luckily for him, he is a beast, so is this one, so is this one, so is this one, and so is this one. Okay, that doesn't sound good, does it? Well, it converts blue gems to red, brown gems to skulls, hunter's marks the first 2 enemies. Then he has a 25% chance to turn into a Werewoods beast. Was a Werewoods beast, you're wondering? It's any one of these 4. So And not only that, any of these 4 can turn into Beastmaster Torben. Some of these have a little bit have more of a chance than others. This one has a 25% chance. This one has a 25% chance, but this one has 20%. I believe this one is 15. It is. So it. I haven't really gone far into werewoods, so I don't know if I can give you a lot of good advice with this. This is probably going to be one of those factions that's just going to be annoying because you're not going to be able to, you're going to have a lineup and you're going to get started, and then you're going to start getting that 25% chance to turn into a werecat, and then 25% chance for a werehound to turn into Beastmaster Torben, and random is something I particularly that gets on my nerves in this game. So it is probably going to be easy to get to level 500, but probably not as easy to get to pure faction fight, if you know what I mean. And with that, the guild event is going to be a world event, so your guess is as good as mine. So I can't really give you much advice for that at this point. So all I'm going to do is say that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like. If you want to see more from me, consider subscribing to this channel or following me on Twitch. And in the comments below, let me know what you think of Urskaya Week. Let me know what you think of Urskaya. Let me know if Werewoods is as random as I think it is. And with that, I will see you in the next video.